My name is Herman Guerra. I'm Ecuadorian and I joined BISP last year, 2022. I'm a soccer scholar. My biggest passion is definitely football. That's basically why I'm here. It's been my passion ever since I started playing, and it's something that I really want to pursue in the future. I started playing football because of my brother. First, I saw him play and I really enjoyed the sport. He got me into football. I remember the first time I considered trying to become a professional was in 2014 after watching the World Cup and being from Ecuador and having the World Cup like in Brazil. I mean, it really showed a lot because there was so much hype around the World Cup, and it just really stayed with me that such big sport and being able to get your name out there and so many people be able to look up at you when you play. I mean, that was really something that started driving me towards this goal. Well, at the beginning it was hard. It was a big step forward from where I was initially. Going from training 3 times a week to basically 6 times a week, or 5 times a week with a match on weekends is really like a step up in intensity, as well as step up in competition and the teammates, because the level is very high and you've got some very good, teammates that sometimes you have to compete against if you play in the same position or whatnot. So yeah, it was really hard at the beginning, especially you get people that have been in Cruzeiro for like a couple years and have been brought up by them training at this high intensity for a long time, and you just come in and it's quite hard at the beginning to adapt, but after that it gets easier and easier. I think I'm quite hardworking. When I set my goals on something, I really want to achieve certain stuff, and I think that's part of the reason I'm here, because when I was younger I wasn't as dedicated or hardworking until I got to a point that I really wanted to stand out as a football player, and that got me working harder and harder in each time in order to be able to first get to the first team, then shine in the first team, and eventually be good enough to be able to come here with a scholarship. No, I think my biggest accomplishment is being able to win many tournaments in Southeast Asia for football, not only here in Cruzeiro but also in my old academy in Malaysia. I played many tournaments around the continent, some in Singapore, some in Malaysia, some here in Thailand, and being able to win many like Soccer Sevens last year is definitely some of the biggest accomplishments until now. I think my biggest role model is my brother, because he kind of sets the pathway, because he's older and he's already done the things that I'm going to do. He's already gone to university, seen how it is. He's trying to pursue a football career, and just having him there to like kind of guide me is why I make sure I keep communicating with him and try to have a great relationship with him, because he's really taught me a lot throughout the years, not only being a guide for me but also teaching me a lot in a way. As well as him, like my parents, definitely my dad, because he loves football as well. They always push me to become better and to make the best decisions I can, towards my future. I think the greatest time I've had here has definitely been after Soccer Sevens, especially being able to win Soccer Sevens here as a player of the B team. It was quite great, and yeah, I think that's the biggest highlight I've had in BISP. I think I adapted quite well. Obviously, the first week or two were quite hard because it's a completely different environment. You're no longer living with your parents, you're living with basically your friends. But I think after a while you realize that you've got so much in common, especially being a football scholar. You realize that all the people around you are kind of chasing the same thing as you, and you're able to relate to them so much that it makes it so much easier to fit into like the boarding environment. I think since I got here, I've developed quite a lot, like football-wise, and also academically. When I first got here, I wasn't too confident in my skills. I wasn't too sure of like where I would go next, but being here, I think I've been able to develop myself quite a lot. So now it can be easier for me to take the next step up in life to wherever I decide to go. I'll definitely be trying to pursue football again. So wherever it is, if the intensity is harder, I think I'm more prepared than I was before I joined the BISP. I prioritize football quite a bit. Obviously, becoming a professional would be fantastic. It would be the greatest thing I could accomplish, I think. But also, realistically, I think a lot about academics. You know, in case anything happens, you never know where your life's gonna go. So in case anything happens, I want to be prepared. I want to go to university, get a degree maybe in civil engineering, and see where I go from there. Obviously, keeping football as a priority, trying to take the next step, maybe semi-pro or professional level if I can. And well, if it doesn't work out, I always have academics to rely on. I think it's great for people to come here because you get, first for football, you get so much perspective of like the level you have to be at. And if you do go to Cruzeiro and you do like make the trials, you get so much out of it. Being able to train so much with players of good standard, it's great. Firstly, second, the environment in the school, I think it's a great environment to be around. Like you have many friends, and like especially if you're a boarder, your friends are like your family. So if you're a boarder, if you come here as a boarder, I think it's something different, but it's something amazing for me.